Today on the Commanders Report, I am covering the latest Commanders trade rumors from a recent article published by CBS Sports, and they have three different moves that they suggest the Washington Commanders make before the NFL trade deadline, and we're going to be breaking it down right here on the show. Welcome into the program here. My name is Jack Sperry, your host, and today, make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you watch our videos, you enjoy our content, we put out videos like this just about every single day. We also have live watch parties for most Commanders games, live on Sundays whenever the Commanders play football games, and if the Commanders end up making a trade before the deadline, we're going to have a breaking news video for you guys. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now to never miss any breaking news action from us here at the Commanders Report by Chat Sports. So now, let's get into the big one here, so to speak, all right? Because I think that there's three moves in this article, and this one I think is the most eye-popping, all right? So CBS Sports says that the Commanders should pursue Carolina Panthers former first-round pick here, Jaycee Horn, cornerback, formerly a South Carolina Gamecock. He's had some really good individual games. He's had some really good stretches during his NFL career, but he has dealt with some injuries. Very interesting name to throw around here with the Panthers potentially looking to be sellers at the deadline. So let's see what Benjamin Solak from CBS Sports had to say about linking Horn to the Washington Commanders. Commanders executive Scott Fitterer drafted Horn early in Carolina. The Panthers like him, but he'll likely command top dollar despite a checkered medical history. This splash would aid Washington's secondary. And honestly, guys, I kind of like the idea. Carolina is a team that could be unloading a lot of their top pieces before the deadline because they're not going anywhere this season. That defense in Carolina has been really, really bad. And I'm not sure if they want to pay Jaycee Horn top money because he's going to probably command that despite the fact that he's had a lot of injuries. He's somebody that hasn't really been super productive for them in his career because of that checkered injury history. And you take a look at his profile here. He's only 24 years old, but he's got the size, man, that Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. love in their number one corner. 6'1", 200 pounds, super, super long arms, plays with really great physicality and instincts. And what he's really known for is press man coverage, and that's what the Commanders want to do in their defensive scheme. That's what they did with the Dallas Cowboys, talking about Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. when they were there in Dallas. They had guys that they could trust in man coverage, and then, of course, they have that creative pass rushing scheme that they implement up front. But having a guy like Jaycee Horn, this guy could be your Trayvon Diggs here in Washington, just shutting people down if you can end up getting this guy. Now, obviously, you guys can see he hasn't finished the season fully healthy, and many times he gets injured very early in seasons. Now, he's been fully healthy so far this season, but he has 4 pass breakups. He does have an interception to start his 2024 campaign, but in 2023 and 2021, his rookie season, it was really unfortunate to see him get injured so early in those respective seasons. He also dealt with some injury issues in 2022 as well, where he had 3 interceptions. So listen, man, will Carolina want to keep him? It's definitely possible if they like him enough and they feel like he can be a cornerstone for their defense. It's very possible Carolina's like, we're a rebuilding team, but this guy's going to be a future cornerstone for us at just 24 years old. But his PFF grade so far is actually pretty decent, a 65.6. It's not the best in the world. It's just 44th. Ranked among 101 cornerbacks. So maybe Carolina's like, you know what, man, I'm not sure if I want to pay the 44th highest grading corner in football top dollar next offseason. So maybe we'll ship him out if we can get a day 2 draft pick. So let me know what you guys think about this potential trade offer. I have the Commanders getting Jaycee Horn in exchange for a 3rd round pick. Now, whether that's the Eagles' 3rd round pick or whether that's the Commanders' 3rd round pick, the Commanders currently possess 2 3rd rounders. So listen, man, you're kind of hoping that 3rd round pick turns into something even close to what Jaycee Horn can bring to the table. I think his skill set fits perfectly with what Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. want to do in terms of their number one corner here in Washington. And honestly, I think they could turn him into an all-pro here in the nation's capital, and all it costs is a 3rd round pick potentially. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you accept this trade? If you're a Commanders GM, Adam Peters, type A if you would accept it, or type D if you would decline it. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by let me know if you're accepting or declining. For me, I'm typing my A. All right, now let's get into another corner that I want to discuss. This one isn't brought up in CBS Sports' article, but I think Marshon Lattimore from the New Orleans Saints is a name to monitor, okay? Because he's 28 years old, so he's not young anymore. He is a veteran, but he does play with great physicality, and he specializes as a press man corner, and he's actually had a really good start to his 2024 campaign. He still has 3 years left, including this year on his current contract. The cap hit is actually not that bad because the Saints have already guaranteed a large portion of his contract. So it'd be like a $16 million cap hit for your number one corner if the Commanders are able to land him in a trade. And you take a look at his numbers here. He's another guy that's dealt with some injuries in the past, specifically in 2022, but he's stayed relatively healthy over the last couple of seasons. He missed a game so far this year already. But you look at the stats so far, and, I think that he's done a really good job in coverage. So they're not really throwing his way. He's just shutting guys down in that press system that they run there in New Orleans. They like to be very aggressive in that Saints defense. That's what the Commanders want to be in the secondary. So Marshon has had a lot of experience as a number one corner, as an island type of guy where he is in press man and he is taking away an opposing team's number one receiver. Right now, his Pro Football Focus grade is ranking in the top 15 among corners. So this is definitely still a number one corner in the National Football League, and he could potentially be up for grabs, especially if Spencer Rattler and that Saints offense can't get it going while Derek Carr is out with an oblique injury. Right now, they've lost 3 straight football games, and if they continue to lose games heading into the deadline, I think Marshon Lattimore could certainly be on the chopping block. Now, coming up here on the Commanders Report, 2 more trade rumors brought to us by Benjamin Solak of CBS Sports. I'll break those down and whether I think they're good ideas for the Commanders coming up here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game, whether it be collegiate or pro, live and in person, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. And lucky for you guys, Game Time is a brand new feature on their free app called Game Time Picks, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on a bunch of different ticketing apps. Super easy to use, guys. You just download the free Game Time app. You go to an event that you want to go see. Then you go to select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters every single ticket they have on their database to fit your needs using their AI analytics. It's absolutely phenomenal stuff, man, and it cuts out a bunch of research time on your end. Usually you have to go on a bunch of different ticketing apps and you have to compare prices, and it's just such a hassle. With Game Time Picks, every single ticket has the lowest price guarantee, and with Game Time Picks, it does the research for you, so it really expedites the process of finding great tickets at great prices for you and your family for whatever event you decide to go to. Also, they have transparent all-in pricing on their app, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee once you're ready to check out. And then you can also get your tickets last minute with flash deals, which actually reward you for waiting last minute, and they drive down their already guaranteed low prices even further the longer you wait to the start of the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, right down there in the bottom of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account with our friends at Game Time and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So we talked about Jaycee Horn in the Carolina Panthers earlier, but they also connect the Commanders to another Carolina Panther here, which is Jonathan Mingo, former day 2 draft pick for the Carolina Panthers here. Pretty interesting idea, especially with how well the Commanders' offense is already playing at this point in the season. But this is what Solak has to say, connecting Mingo to the Commanders. Former Panthers general manager Scott Fitterer drafted Mingo in 2023. A year later, he might be able to reunite with the big target for a later round pick, giving Jayden Daniels added depth out wide. Now, personally, guys, you want my opinion on potentially adding Jonathan Mingo? Right now, he's not really even playing all that much in Carolina's offense, and we know how bereft they are of wide receiver talent, and I really don't think this is needed on the end of the Washington Commanders, man. I really like where they're at wide receiver as Joey pushes our cornerback depth chart. F Joey in the chat, but there they are right there. Terry McLaurin is obviously the number one. I think Noah Brown really fills the role that Jonathan Mingo would fill in this offense. So I think Noah Brown has been doing just fine. Don't really see where Jonathan Mingo fits in this dynamic. So I honestly don't know where Benjamin Solak is coming from this. He's kind of taking it at the angle of, oh, somebody that works for the Commanders now drafted Jonathan Mingo, therefore they should be interested. But honestly, man, you look at this wide receiver room, you look at how well this passing attack is doing right now with the current guys in the building, I really don't think there's any need to go out and get a receiver like Jonathan Mingo at this point. Now, the final rumor to discuss on today's edition of the Commanders Report is to trade Emmanuel Forbes, former first-round pick just last season ago. Already trade him away here in his second year at the trade deadline to the Houston Texans, who currently are in need of some cornerback depth. So this is what Solak had to say about this potential idea. 1 year after arriving as a first-round pick, the slender Forbes isn't seeing much time in Dan Quinn's defense. He'd give Houston an enticing prospect, however, with starter Jeff Okudah sidelined. So listen, man, as far as I'm concerned, especially if the Commanders can get another corner in a trade like a Jaycee Horn, anybody can have Emmanuel Forbes for pretty much whatever price they want. You want to trade him for a 7th-round pick? Sure. You want to trade him for a 6th-round pick? Even better. Emmanuel Forbes, I'm really rooting for the guy, man. I think that it's been a really unfortunate situation for him, but he just doesn't have the size to play effectively at the NFL level. He can't tackle effectively. He can't block shed effectively just because he doesn't have the functional strength. And, he's gotten better in coverage, I would say, this season than he was last year. But if he allows even a slight crack, he's not physical enough to win at the catch point. He has to really be locked down, and the lack of size and strength really does limit his margin for error. And I just don't think he's ever going to, unless he puts on the weight, which I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do at this point. I'm just not sure if he's ever going to be a starting capable corner in this league. And I would probably rather upgrade if I were GM Adam Peters. However, like I said, I'm not giving away Forbes unless I know I have somebody else to fill that number 2 cornerback spot or even number 1 cornerback spot, all right? I want a deal in place for either Marshon Lattimore, Jaycee Horn, or somebody else that's going to start right away before I even think about trading one of my starting corners at this point in time. So let me know down there in the comments section. It doesn't have to be, the guys that we mentioned today, but just in general, which NFL trade candidates or candidate in particular do you want the Washington Commanders to target and try to trade for before the trade deadline this year? Are you a Davante Adams guy? Do you want to go get a corner like Jaycee Horn? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. For me personally, I would love to land Marshon Lattimore from the Saints. Thank you guys for making it to the end of today's video. I really do appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more free and in-depth Commanders coverage all throughout the 2024 season.